Hello YouTube, we're back. I know, it's been like 2 weeks, we're good. Just had other things going on, but here's the deal. We drove it the last time. It was, I don't know, like I said, 2 weeks ago, and didn't get it on film, but the truck has terrible death wobble, right? I mean, like, to the point where you start hitting the brake, it's shaking you off the road and everything. It's not very good. So I remembered it from years in the past, but definitely the next thing that needs to be fixed. Stay tuned, we're gonna get into it. So this is the case for, this is a 78 Chevy. So the straight axle has got a Dana 60 on the front end that I put in it, but this is gonna be extremely similar for most straight axle trucks. They're all gonna be a little bit different, but this will give you an idea. So the way that these old square bodies and old Chevys work comes down from steering column down into steering gear, goes to the pitman arm, and then I have it lifted, so I have the S-bend type of drag link there. Goes into the steering arm on the axle here, and then that gets transferred down to the tie rod, and I'll bring you to the front of the truck. Bear with me, boys and girls. Then, as you can see there, you can kind of see the steering arm transfers down the knuckle down to the tie rod, and then that tie rod is what connects the two tires together, and it turns the other tire. So that's how it works. And just to give you an idea, you can look up other videos or other pictures of trucks to get a better idea if you need more of an understanding, but I will show you kind of what's going on with the worn out parts here. We're going to start from the front passenger side tire, and we're going to work our way up to the steering pitman arm. So we're going to kind of work backwards from the ground up. So I'm going to get in the truck, I turn the wheel, I'm not going to run it or anything, just turn the wheel, and then you'll see some of the slop and see what's going on here. So as you can see, there is definitely slop in that tie rod end. As long as that tie rod is moving, and it is not moving the actual tire, there's play. That's no good. Any of that equals sloppy steering, and when it gets real bad, death wobble. We are now at the driver's side front tie rod end. Steering arm to the drag link, that's what's next. Bringing you around. Here we are at the drag link. Now that is the drag link connecting down to the steering arm. This goes up to the pitman arm. So we're down at the bottom portion of the drag link towards the axle, the knuckle. So here is, now we're working our way up, and we are at the top, or the front, or I guess it would be the top of the drag link in this case, which connects to the pitman arm. So this is where it connects to the pitman arm, and then that's the sector shaft for the steering gear. So here we go. So I moved the camera to where the pitman arm is coming out of the steering gear, and I'm gonna zoom in a bit here and try and focus on where that steering gear, that's where the sector shaft's coming down. That bolt pinches the pitman arm on. This bolt, before you see this bolt is completely tight. I'll strip it if I try to tighten it anymore. So, yes, and this is what's going on. You can see how that has a lot of movement in directions that it should not be moving in. It should be moving in a very fluid motion, just left and right, and it's kind of wobbling up and down. That means a lot of play. So, no good. So another reason that would cause sloppy steering or death wobble or just not good steering would be your kingpin assembly. So it'd be what takes place on a lot of straight axle vehicles of the ball, well, a lot of vehicles, not just straight axle, of ball joints. So this is a Dana 60 axle, and it uses
this particular Dana 60 uses kingpin style, and that's right here. So this area, I have to rebuild these. It's not going to be in this video, but that, just to point it out, there's a spring in there with a, I call it like a nylon bushing. If that wears out, then that could cause sloppy steering. Just to tell you guys that it's not all just in the tire ends and drag links and everything. There is another factor to the scenario. Also, the steering stabilizer shock goes from the tie rod to the axle housing. That is not on this vehicle currently because I took it off because it's shot. So that's another thing that can help this problem.